And we are live. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Lulu. How are y'all doing? Happy Wednesday. I think, is this the last Wednesday? No, it's not the last Wednesday. Almost last Wednesday of October. Actually, I think we have 2 more Wednesdays. October is such a long month. But the good thing about October is it's LGBT plus History Month. And the show is called Queer Wednesday Wizdom. So you know what? Give us 32 days. We'll take it. Today, I have a guest joining me all the way from Nigeria, my country of birth. The funny thing about it is, I've never had a Nigerian on my show from Nigeria. I've had a couple of Nigerians in the US, but I've never had a Nigerian in Nigeria on any of my shows. And I have 4 shows and a radio show, and none of them have I ever had a Nigerian. So I'm really excited for you to pop the cherry, as they say, of virginity on my show for Nigerians. And your name is Timmy. Hi, Timmy. Baoni, how are you doing?
Moakba, I'm very well, doing great.
I know I was going. Let me surprise you with that little twist of Yoruba there. My
And you
roommate in
did it,
medical
you
school,
did it.
my roommate in medical school is Laide, and she taught me some things. She taught me own tawa sherin yara ejeka buried. I remember that.
Let us start what we have come here to do.
Into the room to the yes. That's actually that's from Fela. But yes, I
Yeah.
remember she was like, "Yeah, let me teach you something that you can say to people." I'm like, "Is it good or bad?" She's like, "Let me just teach you first," and I learned it. When I told people, they're like, "Really?" I'm like, what did you teach me?" I was crazy, but yes, welcome to the show. So, where are you from? And I guess we can start by asking you to introduce yourself and where you're from, and maybe even why did you decide to come on a random show on a random evening. I know it's late in Nigeria, but yeah.
Yeah.
So where are you coming from, and why are you on this show? I'm so excited. Fix this comments. Okay.
Oh, I'm also as excited as you are. Hi, everyone. I am Olaidika Timilei, but yeah, that's my long name. For short, call me Timmy, so you don't have to go through all of that.
No, but it's funny.
Um,
It's
uh,
funny your name is Timmy because my best sister coach, who I just got off the phone with, her child's name is Timmy Lane too, and they call him Timmy. So yes, that's good.
That's exciting. I am from Lagos, Nigeria. All of my family are from Lagos, and I had grown up in Lagos all my life. But then I think I traveled across Nigeria as well, I was quite an adventurous kid. So during my teenage years, I was basically volunteering for loads of organizations, and this means that I have to travel sometimes, for all of this work. So during my younger years, I was quite on the road, traveling and doing charity work, especially around Lions Club and all of those popular charities. And yeah, now I work with Quest Media and Production. Quest Media and Production is West Africa's currently biggest LGBTIQ focused media. And we've been in existence since 2018. We started off as Quest Podcast, and as time comes and the work we've done, we had to like expand, and then we went from Quest Podcast to Quest Media and Productions. And yeah, that's what I do. And then jumping on this show was because I think I was excited to come across your I was excited to come across you on LinkedIn. Well, for me, I'm always excited when I find queer Nigerians who are, loud and out and say, "Yeah, I'm queer," and this and
Yes,
that.
because
And
we
then
do exist. Yes, we do exist, and
yes,
we're going to take
exactly.
up
So
space.
when I saw
We're
you,
going
I
to
was
take
like,
up
"Yo, these are my
space.
people. These are my people. I don't like these are
Yes,
my
this
people."
is
And
my
I get you.
tribe, literally speaking. And I see a Niger person in the building. Hi, Niger in the house. What's your name?
Yo.
Please tell us your name. We would like to recognize you. Let me see if I can find you on LinkedIn on my phone because I don't have your name. It just says LinkedIn user. We love you to
Uh,
say who you are and where you're joining us from. Are you also in Nigeria and what's going on? I'm so excited. So excited. Let me see. Sometimes I can find the people on my
What's
phone.
your name? Please tell us your name. We would like to recognize you.
Let me see if I can find you on LinkedIn on my phone because I don't
oh my
have your.
God, we haven't linked on
Yes,
LinkedIn now.
yes. This is so exciting.
Jesus.
Oh my goodness. So all the Niger folks in the house, y'all. So exciting. Listen. So do me a favor, tell us your name and where you're watching us from, please. I would really, really like to know so we can give you a shout out. It looks like there are two Nigerian people watching this. Are you kidding me? I have no Nigerian, and then all of a sudden I have two Nigerians. Oh, Aisha! Oh, Aisha is a gangster. Aisha is a gangster. She is my sister on LinkedIn. I'm so happy to see Aisha. How are you, sis? Oh my God, this is going to be a family reunion. I can already feel it. So, to me, obviously, if you don't know me, my name is Dr. Lulu, and yes, I'm an agitator. I am here. I'm here to start a fire. I always want to start fires. So, come to me with your water because you are going to get burned if you're from the wrong side of the world. And yes, Aisha is in the UK. Yes. Hey, Aisha, I'm going to go
Really, that's
to
exciting.
London just so I can go see Aisha. Aisha, say hello to Timmy. Timmy, say hi to Aisha. And Aisha is an
Hi,
amazing
Aisha. Thank you for joining
ally.
us all the way from London. It's always
Yes,
quite
yes, yes.
exciting to,
So exciting. I
it's
mean,
always quite exciting to meet Nigerians, outside Nigeria or outside Nigeria as a place. I don't know if you get what I mean.
yes,
It's always exciting to know that people are across the world thriving and doing well, and also we back in the house, we're able to connect and find common spaces to have conversations like this. Yeah, it's really exciting.
yes. So the good thing about this is like officially this show is in three different continents. We have someone from Europe, we have someone from Africa, and then we're in the US, so we're in North America. So this is so powerful, and this is how fires start. Like I would start a fire. I might not even stay to watch what happened with the fire, but I'll start it. And it's so powerful because we're talking about inclusive spaces, safe spaces, diverse spaces, spaces where people can come and thrive and find their tribe. And this, I met Aisha on LinkedIn. I think she made a comment. I don't know what she, and I was like, hey, this is my sister. I can just tell. I said, this is a girl that I can definitely start a fire with. And then, of course, Timmy and I met also on LinkedIn, and we've been going back and forth in the DM chat feature. And I was like, you know what? Let's make this official, shall we? So we're meeting now. And so I'm sending all of y'all hugs across the world. Oh, this is so excited. Aisha, I don't know why they're not showing you your, they're not showing us your name, but that's unfortunate. So Aisha says, I'm good and excited to hear more. Timmy, I'm also always happy to see Nigerian queer folks who are also out and proud. Yes, we do exist. All right. So let's get the party started. So Timmy, tell the people, because I know they want to know, how did you, are you the, I don't know your role in this, the queer podcast. What you said it so fast. What's the name of the thing again?
Quest City Podcast or Quest City Media and Production.
Okay, so how did you get involved? How did you become involved with Questity Media Productions? How did that start?
Ooh, I don't know. Everybody's always asking that question, and it makes me think, right? About did I have a thought before going into it, or I just plunged into it? It makes me always like reevaluate myself and be like, oh, was there a reason you did it initially outside of your own conscious thoughts? Sometimes I even think about that, because I feel like there are some unconscious motive that kind of like allow us to do things. And then I discovered that what happened was just as simple as I got tired of seeing queer bodies not having access to some information, right? So I said this on what's it called? I said on Instagram last week that I saw somebody who I know since my teenage years as a queer body selling walnuts in the traffic in Lagos, and I could not say hi, and the reason I could not say hi is because life privileges has kind of like put a kind of like gap between us, even though we are both queer persons. And then if I do not recognize my privileges so much, I might be trampling on another person's space to exist. I don't know if you get what I mean. Me saying I at that point might trigger that person to feel lower than themselves, whereas they are doing well in whatever they are doing. It has been feeding them for the past 10 years that I have known them. So that means they are doing well, regardless of who I am or whatever my background is. And I think that was what pushed me into, because I found myself among queer people who did not access, and I don't know any how to say it. The privilege gap was obvious, I was in university. My friends are not even thinking of going to school. School is not even it's not even in their plan. How are they going to go to school? Well, they can't even afford it, right? And then whenever we're talking, and they're like, "Oh, let's go to that party," I'd be like, "Oh, I can't come to the party. I have lectures. I have this. I have that." And all these minute things I did not know were coming from a place of extreme privileges. That even access to education in Nigeria for a queer body is a lot. Aside the money, part of the reasons when I was in university, I stepped in the student union government for 3 years as a student senator, and I got to discover that part of the reasons why I could do all of these things were because I am not a Nigerian definition of a queer person. I don't know if you understand what I
I
mean.
love that because maybe because you are cis straight passing. I know I am cis straight passing, and I love that you use the word queer body. This is my first time meeting that phrase. We don't use that here, and that's just the beauty of language, how we can manipulate language, and it will mean different things in different places. This is my first time hearing queer body, but I like it. I am a cis heterosexual passing person. When I walk in the room, you can't say, "Oh, there's that gay doctor." You can't tell unless I tell you, right? Or queer doctor. And so I like that. That allows me to enter into spaces and start fires. And we need to be able to do that. And it could be that that's what you mean when you walk in a space. You don't necessarily maybe exude queerness, and then when you open your mouth and start speaking, people are like, "Oh." I want to know because I obviously Nigeria is a very, 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 very homophobic country. One of the things I introduced Nigeria as one of the two most homophobic countries in the world, actually, but really in West Africa for sure. Nigeria, then Ghana, and everywhere else. And we have a brother joining us right now from Kenya, which is so powerful because we're having an African cook fest here. So, Brother Lawrence, let me know if you want to join the conversation. I'll send you the link so you can join. I mean, this is how fires start. I'm always ready to just have anybody that wants to join their voices because we're talking about how we can create safe spaces for queer persons of African ancestry today. Generally, I'm talking about queer spaces in the US, which most people look at me and they always feel sorry for me. "Oh, it must be really dangerous to be gay or queer in Nigeria." I'm like, look, it's even as dangerous, if not more dangerous, to be queer in America. I mean, let's face it. Everywhere you go, there's instability, there's homophobia, there's fear of queer persons, and there's violence.
Those are just the prices you pay for
Yes.
visibility. One thing I say to people is homophobia doesn't get off, right? It doesn't die. No, rather, homophobia is curbed. I don't know if you get what I mean. It's sane. It's now pronounced, right? And then one thing, for example, for us here in Nigeria, when I joined the LGBTIQ movement, like I said, I had my beginning in charity, general charity, poor people, and all of that. Those were my beginnings in activism, sort or interest in social movement issues, right? And then when I came into the Nigerian queer scene as an archivist or as an activist, I hate to call myself an activist, right? Because I feel like my job is to use the tool of archive to propagate the Nigerian LGBTIQ movement till we're able to influence societal change and policy change.
Changes.
However,
Yes.
I keep telling people one thing. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, amazing. So I keep telling people that in as much as Nigeria is all of this, when I joined in a period where we needed to be visible. A lot of us were writing, a lot of us were producing. For example, that's how Quest Podcast also came up. There was a need
Yeah.
for visibility, there was a need for communication, there was a need for information to go out there. There was a need for us to reach our community now even bigger and harder, right? Because as of 2018,
Yeah.
when Quest started, the Same-Sex Marriage Prohibition Act has been passed, right? There was a need to do more work. And there is one thing with visibility. The more y'all become visible, the more they are now visible enemies too. That want to
Yes.
give opinion, like
Come
religious
out. Yes.
people,
Yes.
like elders in this society, like your teachers, like your boss, right? For example, if you do not go to your workplace to say I'm a queer person, you most probably would not, get direct homophobia. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
But the day you're
Yes.
able to pronounce that I'm a queer person, that's the this, and that person will be able to do that. Yeah, I know you're a queer person, but my own religion does not allow. What's my own with your religion now? That's your problem, right?
I love
So, like
that.
I
And
said, the price of
stop for a minute. I love that you talked about religion, because Sister Aisha just mentioned in the comments, in Nigeria, our obsession with religion contributes greatly to the homophobia. And unfortunately, what I've had to learn from my own transgender child a while back was that, once upon a time, and I knew this, and Nigerians all know this, that Abrahamic religion is imported. It was imported to us by the colonialists. And of course, colonial masters. Nobody's my master. They're colonialists. They imported their own religion and then replaced our religion with theirs, and then told us that everything about us is bad, is evil, is dangerous, is demonic, should be abolished. And then unfortunately, we absorbed all of that. And now we're even sometimes more homophobic than the people that brought their religion to us. Sister Aisha, I sent you a link. And then,
we are always.
yes, Lawrence and Sister Aisha, if you can hear me, I sent both of you the link in your DM if you'd like to join us live during this show. If you're just joining us for the first time, as we go to our first break, the show is called Queer Wednesday Wizdom. My name is Dr. Lulu. I obviously started the thing about a year ago, and actually in March of this year, when my Facebook and my Instagram were both hacked at the same time and both canceled by the owners, and so I had nowhere to go. And then I rediscovered LinkedIn. I said, okay, yeah, let me start hanging out in LinkedIn. Fuck Facebook, really was what I said. I said, fuck Facebook. And then I started coming on LinkedIn and I started seeing, queer voices, started seeing people who are like speaking my language. I'm like, okay, this is good. But I didn't see anyone speaking my language in my dialect, if that makes any sense. And I think it's important that we talk about this. Yes, we're all speaking pro-queer, but if everybody around me is white and speaking pro-queer, they're technically speaking my language, but not my dialect. My dialect is not just Black queer, it's African queer, it's Nigerian queer, it's Igbo queer, and it's Igbo woman queer. So it's a dialect that I'm the only one that I've met that speaks it. I see brother BC Alimi is doing stuff, and BC is kind of like up there now. And I feel like we're all on the same level, but BC's face is more recognizable and all that. But for every BC, there's me, there's Timmy, there's Uche, there are other people out there who are also, Sister Aisha is joining. Fantastic. This is so good. Whoa, this is about to get really serious. Sister Aisha,
am I allowed to chime in?
Hey sis, what's going on?
Hello.
Yes.
I just want to say something. First of all, hi to me. Like I always say, I love to see LGBTQIA folks who are out and proud in Nigeria, but part of me is also scared for you. So honestly, what you're doing is amazing. But the other thing is, going back to this conversation about culture, right? So we love to say, let's get in touch with our roots. We should be proud of our culture. That's great. But for some reason, when it comes to religion, we forget about that. We demonize African religions, and then we say, oh, no. Let's go back to our roots, but just not when it comes to that. So it's like, why can't we take it the full distance? And as you said, the other thing people love to say is, being gay is not part of our culture. That's actually a lie, because look back, what I always say is, if you want to know if something was part of your culture before, colonialism and everything, is there a word for it, right? So in Hausa culture, there's a word for men who are gay, so they would say Landodu. So normally how they would explain it, they would say, it's a man who likes to dress up as women, but like, let's keep it real, it's probably a gay man, right? Yes. So it's not a new thing to our culture, but all of a sudden people are acting like it's new, and I'm like, it's not, because if there's a word for it, then that means it has existed from like time.
Before
so when people say so when people say that it's not
hold up, sis, where's your beautiful face? What's going on with your camera?
No, I'm doing my dishes and I just have to jump on. Next time.
That's cute.
You're perfect.
That's cute.
You're so right. Because I went to school in Zazzau. I went to school in ABU Zaria. I went to school all my life in Kaduna State. So absolutely. I know who are the Landau Jews. I know them. We know them. We see them. But more importantly, as an Igbo woman, thanks to Sister Chimamanda Adichie, she went to Harvard and looked at their library and found the information that showed that Igbo women, before colonialists came, took wives, individual wives, not for
Till
their
now,
husband,
they still do
for
it though. They
themselves.
do it till now. They do it till now.
Yes. And so the point is, what are those people? What are they? A woman who takes a wife, what is she? And she's not taking the wife for her husband. She's taking the
No.
wife for herself. So we have to look at what has come before the lies started coming. And
Yeah.
thankfully, some of us, and I know, Brother Timmy knows that to be queer in Nigeria is pretty much a death sentence. But you know what, Sister Aisha, just so you know, even in America, in Texas, where I live, you can get killed for being gay. So it's not safer. I always remind them of that, because people are very quick to always point at Africa. And I tell them, I say, wait, don't be too quick, because all the people that got killed, they're all in America,
Yeah.
So yes, thank you so much, Sister Aisha, and then good luck with those dishes. All right, so Timmy, how now that Aisha has brought it up, how is life in Nigeria as a queer person? Give us a snapshot of a day in the life
Whoa.
of me.
Whoa. I feel like that's a tough question to ask.
Yes, that's a loaded question.
It's a real loaded question because I would speak as not just as a queer Nigerian, but as somebody who identifies as non-binary body in
Mm,
Nigeria, and this is gonna be like a lot. So,
mm,
whew. So one thing with being queer in Nigeria and as across the world, but I think with Nigeria it gets a little bit more tougher because we are all brought up in a place where family is important to our lives.
yes.
Right? Nigeria or Nigerians, we instate it in your head. You grew up in a place where you had constant connection with all of the extended family, you had constant connection with your uncles, your cousins. Nigeria was a place, I don't know, it's a place where I go to see my aunt, I will go spend time with my cousin, days, weeks, right? And
Mhm.
as I come further into my queerness, the distance became, it just started
Yes.
coming naturally. I can't define it. I can put words to it, but the distance starts to come, and then it goes from your extended family to your direct family, right? Who now feels as though because the extended family is feeling as because the extended family is feeling your shame, you're now ashamed, right? You're
Mhm.
bringing a shame on them. There is a thing around. I say something, and that's because I have experienced that the first time the Nigerian soldier came to my house, I was still living with my mother, right? And then my mother slapped the soldier man and said, "Do not come to my house again. I don't care whether I have a gay son or not." While I'm sure my mother would not have had the same reaction if it were to be her brother that said the same thing. If her brother had said the same thing, she probably would have called me to a meeting that evening and
Mhm.
say something to me. That is how
Mhm.
important. That is the role of family in Africa or in
Mm.
Nigeria. To be precise. So I, as a queer body now, growing up into my queerness means that the past 3 to 4 years of my life has been around detachment from all I know. That's the
Mm.
past. Everything I know
That
now
is
it's
so
about.
difficult. Yes,
It is.
mentally. Yes, mentally speaking, that will be very difficult. And Nigeria is really, really heavy on family. And in America, maybe you might maybe get away without, the huge influence. But in Nigeria,
I
that
feel
the
like in
family.
America, and this is my feeling. I've not lived in America. I don't know how true this is. I feel like America has the street queer family for you. I don't know if you get what I mean. In
Mm,
Nigeria, the movement is just beginning. We are still living in fear, right?
yes.
People tell me I'm too loud. In fact, people tell me to take down pictures I've taken with them if I upload them on Instagram because they don't want to be seen with me or something. It's
Are you
hard like
serious?
this.
Oh.
Yeah, and I understand it. It's earlier than now. I used to get hot and angry, but now I also understand that not everybody could pay the price of detachment from family. Like I said, family is a big thing for us here in Nigeria, and I'm still paying for it. I live with clinical depression. I'm still
Yes.
doing all of this. Do you get what I mean? I
I
understand. I
do.
don't want others to be here. So I understand their fear when they tell me, oh, Timmy, I just saw a video of myself that you uploaded. I'm there, take it down. Timmy, the picture we took, I didn't expect that you were going to upload it. And I'm like, what does that mean? Take it down. And. But then I used to get angry, but now I don't do it again because I understand it's coming from a place of fear that I have been able to navigate and negotiate. And it's okay if they have been unable to negotiate these things, but it comes with prices. Let's not gonna lie. I'm not
Yes.
gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna tell you to do this. No, it's like my best friend will say. She'll say, if you come out, there is consequence. If you do not come out, there is consequence. Choose the one you can live with.
Yes. Oh, that is so powerful.
You know,
Yes, that is so powerful. Choose your poison, so to say. That
choose
is
there is no safe ground anywhere. If you stay
yes.
inside, people will come for you. Your mental health will pay for it. If you come out of the closet, your mental health will still pay for it. People will come for you. So
Yes.
it is what
I
it
would like
is.
I would like Sister Aisha to chime in here. I have a friend who lives in Nigeria right now, and he is like a flower. I mean, you could just see him and you could just tell, right? But he told me, he said he doesn't think he would ever come out. He's actually Yoruba. He said he doesn't think he will ever come out because he's afraid of something different. He's afraid of being excommunicated because of his parents to inherit his inheritance. He can only ever think about coming out after his parents have died. And
Well,
in my and that blew my mind, but I get it. Just like you said, I get that that is a real fear that he has, that he might not
you don't have
lose his
inheritance when you're
inheritance.
detached. You don't have
I know,
inheritance when you're
but
exiled.
in my mind, I said, but you have a very successful business. I mean, you could see him on Instagram. One look at him, and you could tell that he is
Whether a business is
very.
successful or not, they brought him to this planet without his choice. He deserved that inheritance. He deserves it.
So he
But,
said
but,
he's not
but
going to come out. He said he's never going to come out ever
And that's
until his
valid. Like I
parents.
said,
Yes.
he didn't choose to come. Now that he's here, he could choose to leave. I don't know if you get what I mean. He
Yeah.
could choose his choice
yeah,
of leaving.
to be honest with you, I totally understand that. And what you
Mhm.
touched on is super key because the family alienation plays a huge role, right? If your family
Right.
is supportive, at least then you can kind of be like, well, it's us against the world and F you, right? And there's
Yes.
almost a sort of protection because it's kind of like no one can go and report you to your parents because it's like,
Exactly.
well,
To your parents,
what are you going to report? They
exactly.
That's
already
one of
know,
the reasons
right?
I
But
confront Sean.
as in, but also how sad is it that, if I was this person's parent, your friend, right, I would be
Yeah.
thinking to myself, what sort of parent am I that my child would feel that I would have to die for them to
Yeah.
be their authentic
To live
self?
authentically. Thank you.
Like,
Thank you.
I
And as
really
the
think
parents
that
of a queer
people.
child, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I really think that people need to think about that because even with our generation, I have a lot of conversations with friends. So I'm child free, don't have kids, don't plan to have kids. But I've had conversations with people of my generation who are saying things like, "Oh, if my child was gay, I would never accept it." And honestly, my first thought is, well, you should never have children. Like you really just shouldn't.
Yes.
Hello.
Nah.
High five. High five on that.
No,
That's
they
so
shouldn't. I am
but but
100.
but
I'm 100% of that belief. We shouldn't. They shouldn't. If
they
your
shouldn't have
child
kids.
if your child's queerness would deter you from your child, would separate you from your child, or not even queerness. I think I can use the word queer because queer also means that you're different, right? So
Different,
if
yes.
your
Which
child
is
is
what, yeah.
queer in any form,
Way.
whether they were born with disability, whether they were born with anything, I don't care. If your child is born with anything, if you do not have the mental capacity to birth a human being that has a human experience, if you do not have the mental capacity to accommodate that your child is a human that will have a total human experience totally different from you don't deserve to have a child. Or just
Yeah.
go and get a puppet that you can tell, or go get clay that you can mold into what you want.
What you
But if
want.
you want a human that has its own brain, that has their own brain, that has their own feelings, emotions, and think, you need to be ready for a blank paper. I'm thinking that whatever it is, read. What I'll say is rather than waiting for a finished book, right? be expecting a plain book that wants to write itself. Now experience that writing, please. Your job
I
is to
want to
experience it.
I want to chime in and play devil's advocate for a minute, and because I don't know Timmy as far as whether you have kids or not, but I am the one parent in the space, so I want to play devil's advocate for a minute with a
I
twist.
have plant kids and pet kids. I need to say
Okay, well
that
there
too.
you
Yeah,
go.
my
I have
kids.
plants. I have plants kids too, but I have humans as well. But let me play devil's advocate for a minute. I want to play devil's advocate simply because I happen to be the one person who's a parent. And the reason I do this work now is because of that. Growing up in Nigeria, when I told my dad that I liked girls, the only reason I'm maybe one of the reasons I'm still here is because my dad, while he's very traditional Nigerian Catholic Igbo, he is also relatively educated in the sense that he was like, okay, it's a phase and it's going to go away. So don't worry about it. So he kind of brushed it off when I was 16. And then I had another family member and a sister and a brother. I'm like, wait, hold up. You know, other people are coming out. I'm like, okay, these people are all queer people and they're all like my family members. Okay, so what are going, right? Oh, Timmy, did I lose you? Uh-oh.
I'm here. I just
Okay,
need to
good.
like turn my fan back.
No problem, no problem. And Aisha, you're still here, yes?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay, Aisha, good. And so growing
Aisha,
up,
I saw your AC.
I know, right? Yeah, and so growing up, I now started thinking that there's something wrong with me because this phase was not going away. I started feeling negative towards myself. And then now I know that the name for that is internalized homophobia. And I had it to such an extent that it was only when I turned 42 that I finally said, you know what, fuck this. I'm not going to stay in that space anymore. I'm going to come out and just live authentically. Now, that's me. One arm of the story. The other arm of the story is my child. When my child was only 2, I told my mother, I said, I think this kid is gay. My mom was like, oh my God, bring the holy water. Don't say that ever again. How can you say that kind of thing about your child? Well, how dare you say that about my grandchild? That kind of thing. I was like, but if he's gay, then he's gay, right? And but then we didn't bring it up again. And then I now started having negative feelings towards my own child being gay. I was like, no, don't be gay. Actually, you should not. You should not be. Don't be gay. And then I started asking God, please, whatever you do, don't let this gayness thing, don't let it persist into adulthood. Because I started seeing how people are being treated. I was like, and I didn't want that for my child. Now, when I now knew better, when the child got older, and of course it was not going anywhere, I was able to see the thing about being bisexual is I was able to live in plain sight, hidden rather in plain sight, because I knew I was bisexual, but I was married to my ex-husband, so I was able to live as a heterosexual person, which was a
Yeah.
lie, but I was able to pull it off. Now, if I was a lesbian, full-blown lesbian, then that would maybe I won't be able to pull it off. But I'm not. I'm bisexual. I have an attraction to both binary sexes. So I was able to hide that part of my life. And then when my child was growing up and now said something about being non-binary, I was like, bikini. Then trans. I said, transgender care. No. So the thing about it is, I now looking back, I was not thinking about my child at all. The entire time, I was thinking about me. And that's why I want to help parents see what I know. Because the truth is, if you don't know something, you don't know something. But once you know, you cannot unknow it. So
Right.
for my friends, family, and other people all across the world who are parents, they say smart people learn from their mistakes. But smarter people learn from other people's mistakes. I'm
Okay.
asking you to not wait and put your child in jeopardy like I did. I can't tell you all the things that we don't have enough time. That's just how extensive it is. Don't wait until that, because the suicide rate, it's like you can have a gay child or you can have a gone child, Gone. Or you want flowers? You can start picking the size of the coffin. What are you looking for? Because the suicide rate is so high that if there's nothing else that can wake you up from your slumber, it's that. But you think that that's powerful enough, and still we have parents digging their heels in and saying, lie, lie, till lie, lie, never. And that's where, for me, Nigerian religion takes over. They just say, you know what? The Bible says, and then once they go to Bible says, church don't finish. Look at what
Also, I think what about affects Nigeria, and that's I'm speaking to the change we're experiencing around social acceptance, which I think increased by about 5%, which is still better. I feel
I'll take that, yes.
Yeah, we're working towards 100. Is the fact that whew, in Nigeria, earlier before our time, I like to say earlier before my time, because I'm an archivist. I love to give respect and credit to every time and the experience, because the experience of older folks are not the same experience we are having now as younger folks, right? So the older folks they came from a place that is a little bit harder than ours, right? They came from a place where their friends were denouncing queerness. I don't know if you understand what I mean, right? They came from a place where, quote and unquote, my parents saw their queer friend got married. I don't know if you understand what I mean, which is a thing, right?
In Nigeria?
Yeah.
Nice.
People are still getting married to tomorrow.
Hey,
No,
I don't live in Nigeria.
No, not married. So this is it. It's not married. They don't get married to their queer partners. No, that's not what I meant.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So there is this narrative of change, of changeability. I don't know if that's the right word for it, right? There is that narrative of, I had seen something. When I was growing up, there was one time. Even me, I've seen African parents even point to themselves. They were like, when I was growing up, I was a tomboy. I loved girls. I pressed girls. I did this and did that. But see me now, it faded off. And it's a lie. It's not like it faded off. They settled with their internalized homophobia. They settled with their internalized homophobia. And that is kind of what we are still facing now in Nigeria. But thankfully, younger folks are coming out, right? So, and younger folks are getting married in Nigeria. Almost every other week, queer Nigerian is getting married, and I love to see it, right? And then, as this is happening, we are shifting away from the narrative of queer people change, right? To, queer people get married, right? They can get married to their partner, right? Rather than it's changing. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Rather than us, right? And the former narrative is what peddles the phase narrative. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Yes.
That's what
my dad told me it was a phase.
Yeah, it totally fuels it. And the reason why they are telling you it's a phase is not because that's it. It's not because it's not because somebody told them it's a phase, right? But because they've seen somebody, they've heard the testimony of somebody who had changed.
Yes, that is so powerful. Sister Aisha, if you're still there, can you tell us what are the attitudes, and I think I know this already, but what are the attitudes towards queer folks in the UK? Is it any better at all than it is in the US and Nigeria by default today?
Oh, definitely better. Because I feel like the difference is in Nigeria, you're allowed to be openly homophobic and say dumb things like that. Whereas here, if you make comments like that, especially in the workplace, you get fired. or like you would probably face like some very serious consequences. I mean, obviously they'd have to give you a warning, go through the process with you. But if you carried on sort of making homophobic comments, that's discrimination. You're not allowed to discriminate against people based on their sexual orientation. So, I'm not saying that the UK is perfect. There's a lot of things that still need to be done. So in terms of trying to get the government to actually ban things like conversion therapies.
Yes.
And, there's a lot to be done. But I have to say, like, in Nigeria, it's fine to be openly homophobic. Like, it's something that, if you even express any kind of support for the LGBTQ community, people will now start saying, it's because you're also gay. There's nothing wrong with being gay, and that's not the point. Like, but what are you talking about? You know what I mean?
I love what you said. I love what you said. In Nigeria, if you associate, which is why Timmy's friends tell him to take down the pictures, which that to me is extreme. But I've been told to take down a post before, not about LGBT, but because it was directly saying something that people are like, "Oh my God, don't say that." I was like, "No, no, no. I cannot live in fear." As a matter of fact, somebody said that. I think I shared that. I don't know if you saw the post. So sometime on LinkedIn when maybe it was your post, and I was like, for me, I show people's names. And then the lady was like, "Oh, you should not be showing names because in LinkedIn is going to." I said, look, LinkedIn is going to block you. They're going to block you. They're going to block you. They're going to find something to block you because they don't want pro LGBT voices. No way. But if you're going to live in fear, then you might as well just stay in fear. You cannot choose the fear. For me, I'm going to put the names of people that talk junk to me, because if you are bold enough to talk junk to me in social media, I'm bold enough to post your name. Yeah, let them.
I'm gonna
We
call you out
cannot.
straight up.
We just cannot keep censoring ourselves. At what point are we going to stop wearing a mask? Because then at one point you don't even know which mask you're going to wear. Which mask are you going to wear today?
Where do we draw the line
I know.
of censor? Because
Yes.
for me as a queer body in Nigeria, right, I've censored who I talk to, I've
Yes.
censored where I go to, I've censored everything in my life. Trust me, I'm the
Yeah.
most censored being. Queer Nigerians are the most censored being on this planet. If I
Yes.
allow me to
I
say
believe
it.
it. I agree.
Because yeah, because
I
literally
agree.
everybody wants to meet you once they hear your day, right? And then I still come to if you go check my Instagram now, I still say it, I am still trying to like settle with my mental health as regards social media, because now I'm now in a place of what do we even post? I just want to smile because I'm smiling with a friend now.
Yeah.
I call the person a friend. A friend is like, "Oh my God, this might mean that I'm out and all of that." And it's
Yes.
understandable.
Yes.
Like I said, I have a platform, right? My platform is pro queer, so I would understand if, like we said, Nigerians ascribe queerness to anybody that supports anybody who is queer, right? So I
Exactly what
understand
Aisha
if
said.
we are scared, right? Most especially because they are even queer. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Yes.
So it's kind of
Yes.
like, so it's like, oh God, if they look for, they will find. So I don't
Yes.
want you to be a pointer to where they will come and look for,
Exactly.
right?
So,
I
so
understand.
as we get to the end, this has been such an amazing. In fact, I think normally the whole strategy of the show is to talk about treatment of queer folks at the workplace. And while we didn't necessarily go all the way there today, this is one of my best episodes ever, because we just talked candidly about queerness in Africa. I don't know if I'm going to have this chance again, because we don't know. It's so unsafe. And Sister Aisha, thank you so much for joining us from the UK today. You didn't have to, you could have been doing anything, but you came to join your siblings. That
You was
says
doing
so
that
much.
dishes.
Yes, that says so much about who we are as Africans, as Nigerians. We really do love each other. I mean, there's an Igbo person, a Hausa person, and a Yoruba person in one show, in one day, in 1 hour on LinkedIn, a place where
Even in
we're not
Nigeria,
supposed
I'm
to be
not saying
seen.
that.
Yes,
That's
we're not
weird.
supposed to be seen. So I want to take a moment to say thank you to the universe. I'm really, as I got older, I stopped being religious and more spiritual, and I do believe that nothing happens by accident. We rescheduled this thing. I don't know how long we rescheduled. We said, okay, when are we going to move? I said, okay, what? Let's just do it today. And then today we were, okay, is the technology going to work? I want to take a moment to just give you flowers, both Aisha and Timmy, for coming and showing your face. Because let me tell you something, nothing is promised. There's so much negativity. If you get one person to say, yes, I got that person, there's violence treatment, there's sexual assault, there's physical assault, and really the person that they're afraid of is the person in the mirror, because that person reflects the truth about what's in their hearts. So because they cannot face the person in the mirror, they're going to come and get me or get Timmy or Aisha, whoever they're getting. And I want us to, if you can hear my voice, to think long and deep about, reflect on your thoughts about the queer community and the why. If your idea of queerness is they should all burn and go to hell, I have news for you. Heterosexual people produce homosexual people. So homosexuals, like my friend said, they didn't ask to be born. You had sex and produced a homosexual. So what are you making it mean about you? What are you saying that this means about you? Because scientifically speaking, two homosexuals ideally cannot procreate. It takes one heterosexual in the space. And so I want you to understand that if you kill all of us today, 9 months from, actually 10 months, because it's 40 weeks, 10 months from today, a bunch of us will be born again. So I need you to consider that maybe, could it be that your internalized homophobia is because you are indeed queer? And if that's the case, welcome home. And you don't have to come out of the closet, which I don't like to use that phrase, but I need you to just waka pass is a thing. Like, you don't have jump and go where you're going is a thing. You don't have to say, let me stop and pluck somebody's eye. Hopefully I'm making sense. I don't even know if I'm making sense. But anyway, to round it up, let's start with Aisha, who is in the UK. Aisha, what are your suggestions about how can we create safer spaces? For me, I always say begin from yourself. So I've talked about begin from yourself. Waka pass to me is that's your cue to treat people the way you would like to be treated. That's me. So Aisha, what about you? Because you're very vocal in the corporate world. I'm no longer corporate in corporate world, so I don't know anything about corporate world anymore. But you are. What would you say are your ideas about how to be true allies, which is what you did today, actually, by the way, Aisha? You are not a performance ally. You're hands-on. She says, I think it's also a bit of jealousy. They weren't brave enough. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
She said, I was just about to say I was doing my dishes. Okay, that's fine. But I like what you said about, I think it's also a bit of jealousy. They weren't brave enough to be themselves. So they are mad to see others living authentically all day, every day. But it's the IH that fuels that jealousy. Internalized homophobia fuels jealousy. But yeah, I wish I could put that on the banner, but I can't. Sis, you need to write it so I can put it, on the banner.
I put it in the chat. I don't know why you can't put it in the banner.
It's in the private chat. It's in the private chat. Private chat doesn't.
So I can see it.
Yeah, we can do. It's private. I cannot display it.
Oh, I think it's because I joined the link you DM'd
Yes,
me.
because you joined. I think the only way you can display it is to. No, actually, you can. If you post a comment, then you will. But if you post as a private chat, then you can't.
Okay. Yeah. So
okay.
I think
comments. I just can't post them.
Yeah, the point I was gonna make is in terms of how we can be better allies, we just need to show up, right? So as you said, like what I did, show up, sit there, listen to the conversations, but then also tell other people what you've learned. And I think the only way to create that safe space is to have the discussion. So have the discussions. If you see people saying or doing particular things, ask them why. So like myself, I've had conversations with family members, questioning them on why they're being homophobic. Like simple question is like, why does it bother you? I just always ask questions, because sometimes when you don't make statements, when you make a statement, people then feel like you're trying to convince them of something. When you ask them questions about things they've said, now you're forcing them to examine their own views.
Yes.
Right? So ask the hard questions, but then also, don't just sort of sit in your little bubble. So like be active. So try and engage with people from the community, listen to the conversations, watch the films, consume the content, learn the words, things like pronouns, for example. I only learned about pronouns a couple of years ago. There's so many things that I learned following creators from the LGBTQ community, and you just always have to be in this sort of mindset of learning and always understand that you're always going to be learning, and also being fine with making mistakes. Like so many people don't try things because they're afraid to make a mistake, and it's like, okay, has anyone ever died from making a mistake? Like unless I don't know, you're a doctor or something, that's a different conversation. But like you can just apologize and keep it moving. Most people are fine if you make a mistake, you just apologize, don't do it again, and it's gonna be fine. But I think too often when it comes to being an ally, everyone's so scared to make a mistake, and it's ego driven because you think of yourself as perfect and like you can't make a mistake. That's why you're so scared to make a mistake. But if you think of yourself as a human being who's gonna make mistakes, then you'll be fine.
Yeah. I really need to post some of these chats. Let me see. Timi, who is our guest today? Timi, I wanted you to have the final say because this is so important. Let me see if I post this. Yes, very good. So what I did was I copied your comment and then posted it myself. So I like that sometimes parents aren't thinking of you. They're thinking about what other people will think of them because of it. I love that. I love that. Which is why I said I was thinking about me, the whole time. I wasn't thinking about my child. I was thinking about what are my friends going to say? What are my parents going to say? What about my siblings? What are they going to say? And the truth about it is, what are my neighbors going to say? Now, my neighbors can never come into my house and tell me, don't cook eba, ati, ewedu, or I don't know, amala, ati, ewedu, or bakery soup. They cannot tell me that. It's when I say, this is what we cooked. They will say, oh, that's what you cooked? Okay. So it's the boundaries that you set. I've learned how to do that. We don't talk about it. That's okay. But don't tell me not to talk about it because this is my child, that kind of thing. So I've kind of put those boundaries in place. But thank you for that comment. Okay, so Timmy, what are your thoughts about, I mean, you're like the man of the hour, or the non-binary person, if I may say, with all due respect. What are your thoughts about creating safer spaces in Nigeria for queer folks? Because even just normalizing conversations like Sister Aisha said to me is even, I don't even know if we're even normalizing conversations yet. Talk less of now making it okay. They were so happy when the Marriage Act was passed. I was like, what is wrong with these people? There was a whole celebration. I'm like, oh my God. Like you should be worried about the gas prices and building safer roads, but no, let's not let the gay people get married. And you're all celebrating. And it was very puzzling to me, brother. But anyway, over to you.
Well, so when it comes to queer spaces, currently, I don't know, me personally, or we in Queer City, not just me, I think because I'm leading the project. I don't know, the project I often lead, I'm only like trying to personalize them, and that's because I think they're really that personal. So forgive me a little bit. So we're currently doing a project now that we're still trying to seek support for. It's literally to analyze queer space negotiation and navigation. How do queer Nigerians negotiate simple things as joining a public bus? How do queer Nigerians negotiate simple things as public spaces? How do queer Nigerians react to straight people in queer spaces? All of this are conversations that we should have and we should keep checking into if we really want to help foster safe spaces. You are not going to create safe space from what you think. You would create safe space from what the people experience.
Yes.
I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes all the
experience
sense.
you're trying to make safe. You're trying to make safe their own experience, not make safe what you think about them, right? So as we go further from here, creating space for queer Nigerians will be like just you did, not assuming about what's happening in Nigeria totally, but giving spaces for people from Nigeria to come on your own platform to also like talk about Nigeria. That's how we navigate spaces. We use all that we have, and then give it to people, and you be like, yeah, I empower you with this. I empower you with my platform. I support you with my business. I support you with our what's it called? Corporate responsibilities. All of these things are how we create spaces. As part of our corporate responsibility, for example, I work currently. I'm in the corporate world. Funnily, after the work I do at Queer City, I currently work with the German Cultural Institute, which is the Goethe Institute. And yeah, I'm allowed to be queer in my office during the whole of Pride Month. I made a post about it on LinkedIn. I had a rainbow flag on my table, right?
Nice. I see it at the back of on your wall too. I don't know if that's your office or that's the.
Oh no!
I saw that. I love it.
So I'm actually from the Queer City studio though. So this is like our non-production, and yes. So as part of what I am saying is, whatever platform you have, you don't have to say I'm pro-gay. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, right? My company that I work with didn't have to say we support queer rights. Just as simple as queer people can work here without feeling discriminated. It's just as simple as that. Just giving people platform to be, creating that space for people to not feel that fear. Like I said, when I'm going to stop creating, I didn't know again. It's about giving people that space where they don't have to overtly create themselves as around their queerness, their identity, and their expressions, right? So as we go further from here, last year I would say is open your pores. I will always shout, please. Open your pores for queer Nigerians. Because
put your hands deep, deeper.
I like to say that. Did no, literally, because y'all understand that due to the work we do here, for example, City has been like self-funded for the past 5 years, thanks to support from all of our listeners and these that send us tips and donations once in a while. But yeah, that is not what will get us to the place we want to be as a queer representing or as a queer focused media operating in West
Mm,
Africa. Our work is
mm,
bigger than this. People are dying every day. People are getting violated every day. The
yeah,
main media is not going to talk about it. We can't talk about it if we do not have the resources to talk about it. We
yeah,
can't shout about it if we do not have the platform to shout about it. So literally, because of the work we do, it's evident we're not getting there. So part of creating space is also financial freedom. We need
yes.
to be able to give financial freedom to queer bodies, to queer activists, to queer organizations. Queer people are, I don't know, there's this synonymity in Nigeria between queerness and poverty. So much that if you, as a queer activist or as a queer organizer, get to be a little bit comfortable in your life, people would raise brows, even from within the community, would
Oh
raise brows
my.
that, oh, why are you getting comfortable? Shouldn't you be angry? Should I don't know? I shouldn't you
Shouldn't you
take
be
it,
hungry
right?
and
Like I
angry? Oh,
said, yeah, well, like I said, there is synonymity around queerness and poverty. And like I said, I think that's coming from lack of access to resources, which is
mm,
well established here. It cannot be argued. So when we see other people like get access to resources, like, yo, you're getting access to resources. How? Yeah, what are you doing? You must be doing something different. You must be doing something, sneaky. I don't know if you get what I mean, though.
yes, no,
But
we're
yeah,
following
that
you.
just
We're
speaks
following you.
to the level of penury that exists in our community. Like I said, you
Yeah,
depart from everything you know. You have to start your life from scratch. So talk less of you want to like build up for your community. You don't even have for yourself. How do you build up for your community? You
yeah,
already detached from everything you have. You already detached from all of your resources and life and family. How do you create family for people? How do you create resources for people? So furthermore, creating space will be around us bringing queer people to our platform, especially queer Nigerians, allowing queer people to tell their own story and also fund queer people's
yes.
pockets, fund queer people, queer organizations pocket and all of it. You have to do it. So I don't know. It goes, allyship goes, as my mentor would say, my mentor is, I don't know, even though we call it the Nigeria Oprah Winfrey. He was the last person on my show. Chude, Chude would say, put your money where your mouth is. I don't know if you get what I
Mm,
mean. It's just what
yeah,
it
no,
is.
I
Like,
yeah.
we live in a capitalist world. We know that everything needs some sort of financials or not. If I don't want to get paid as somebody working or doing what I am doing, we need to pay for our rent, we need to pay studio bills, we need to pay
Yeah.
creatives that work with us, we need to all of these things, right? So if you all want to see all of that work going, if you want us to be in that space that mainstream media are and they're not giving us that platform, you need to be able to push us there. We need to push across our platform. Yeah, so that's the way to create space for Nigerians.
Yeah, I
Or queer
love
people
it. You know,
generally. I think it's queer people generally. Queer
I
people
love
around the
it. I
world.
love all of it. I love all of it. Aisha is asking a good question. Actually, Aisha, you took that question from my mouth. I was gonna suggest one organization that I just found last week that does stuff for queer people in Africa. So I was gonna take a moment and ask Timmy to maybe write your, I don't know, do you have like a GoFundMe or unfortunately over here, people would donate money as long as they see that it's nonprofit and they're going to get their tax. And so sometimes you're worried, do you really want to give me the money? Well, I do, but I want to get my tax benefit. So do you have something like that? Maybe a link you can share and I'll put it on the thing so that it will come up in the comments. And I'm going to go into my DM right now and find an organization that I was introduced to. I think it's called Out and Loud or something. I forgot the name. I didn't I didn't I didn't learn the name of the place, but somebody shared it on a post when the I think it's, let me see. I think I sent it in my DM. If I didn't, then I'm going to have to just find it later on after the show is over. But I know somebody has shared it on an event that I was in, and then I shared it with them. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna. It's on the voice notes. Okay, but I'll pull it up and I'll send it to you specifically, Timmy, so you can reach out to them because they are an international organization that helps queer people in Africa specifically. So, but do you have any comments for Queer City Media, Bitly? Okay, very good. Let me put that on the comments because that's only coming in the private chat. But thank you all so much for joining us today. I know most people, what I've noticed is most of the time people watch these things on the replay. So I would like you to say it so that those who maybe listening to it, they might not. So I'm sharing it on the link. So I'm going to explore. I'm going to display that. And then I want you to say it also so that people can hear it. And then those people who want to find ways to support well Oasis project. So what? So there's tears. Oh my God, there's a lot of them. You all need to be posted in the comments. Do you not have access to the
Yeah,
comments?
there's a lot. It's just the law that won't allow us function. It's the law that won't allow us function. A lot of us are organizing.
I know. I hate that for y'all.
Nigeria, is big. There are about
Oh, Nigeria is
how
big,
many
and
of us
Nigeria
are in
is
this
so
country? 22
industrious.
million plus.
Yes, I thought it was 300 actually. The
Exactly.
same population as America. So I definitely I see that. But thank you all so much for joining us today. It has been amazing. I live for these conversations. I love these conversations. And this is for Sister Aisha, just so you know. You know your sister has been on Oprah. So my next stop is CNN. So I need y'all to put your voices out there because I'm trying to get to be the first queer Nigerian on CNN.
Yes,
So
yes, yes, yes. Speak into
yes,
existence.
yes. My show is going to be
Absolutely.
the same name, the Pride Corner. I want to take the Pride Corner to the world because I mean we might as well. Somebody has to do it. So I'll try. Nobody say I cannot dream. So for that, I'll give my best shot. So everyone, can you please tell us where can people find you? Where can they follow you and support you? I'll start with Aisha so we can let her go finish her dishwashing situation, and then we'll default to my guest, and then we'll wrap it up. So, where can people find you and support you, or learn about you, or all of the above?
Oh, do you mean me or to me?
Yes, Aisha, you start. I want to start
Oh,
with you.
yeah. So
So
LinkedIn.
he's my guest, so he gets the final say because
Yeah,
he's
LinkedIn is kind of my main platform. So Aisha Suleiman, and I have my own website, The Inclusive Culture. So I have my inclusion consultancy. So yeah, that's how you can find me. But I just want to say thank you both so much for having this conversation. I hope that, I don't know, when we're all dead, this will not be a thing, and the future generation will be like, oh my God, these people were homophobic. What was wrong with them? What were they thinking?
I like
Oh.
that. I like that. One of the things it's funny you said that. I remind people that once upon a time, being black in America was synonymous with having leprosy. Being black in America was synonymous with being mentally ill. Like black people, the Negroes, the origin. If you look at the doctors, Dr. Cartwright and co, who did studies then on Negroes, they believe that we didn't feel pain, and the name, there's a disease called drapetomania was made up by Dr. Cartwright. He said that that's the disease that black people who wanted to run away from the slave farms or whatever plantations suffered from the disease called drapetomania. That was the name of the disease because they wanted their freedom. So it's not, and this is not even 50 or 60 years ago. So it's not a very long time. Okay, maybe more than that. But the point is, once upon a time, marrying across your race, you got killed for that. So we have definitely made strides. And yes, it makes sense that in 50 years, maybe I'll still be alive, who knows? People can look back and say, you know what? 50 years ago, you couldn't even come out and say you're gay. Because that's what happened. You couldn't marry somebody across. If today, some people still don't want you to marry across, racial borders, which are self-created and man-made. They're not even real. But it is what it is. So, my guest, we're going to let you have the final word. Where can people find you, support you, and hopefully you will come on my podcast on Instagram, since I now know that you're active on Instagram. I did not know that, which is the one that is the Pride Corner, where you tell your coming out stories, because I don't want to taint the so-called LinkedIn corporate space bullshit with that. But my Instagram crowd, they like to hear people's, can kind of see that, oh, you see, you can do this. You see, you can do that. So
Well,
where can people find you? And can you hear me?
Yes, I can. The best place to find me is also on LinkedIn. I also live on LinkedIn. Olaide, Kayode, Similei. That's my handle. Also, the same thing. I think on all of my social media, and for social medias that would not allow me write my name in full, like Twitter, among others, I use at OK Timilei. That's just my initial and my last name or my middle name. That's Timilei. But sorry, if I call it middle name, this is the way we write in Nigeria, so y'all don't really get confused with the way I write my name.
So this is you on LinkedIn. I'm
So yeah,
typing it. I'm typing it. Yeah. So this is Olaide Kayode
once you search
Timileye.
this, you can even just go to Google. Yeah, you could even Google this. It's as simple as that. And then for my work, you always find my work at queercitypodcast.com. Queer and podcast.com. We chose not to
Very
change the
good.
podcast because of algorithm issues. We would have like probably like updated our website to Positivity Media, but then we like it like that, and our audience also likes it at podcast.
Amen.
And then we left it like
And
that.
and for those of you who are wondering, yes, I'm going to be on their podcast. It's just a matter of getting the timing right. As you all know, Aisha, I think
Yay!
it's Aisha. Is it 8
I'm
o'clock over there?
excited.
Yep, it's like 8:17
Yes,
p.m.
and then Timmy, is it
It's
9?
8:17 here, also in
Oh, it's
Nigeria.
8:17. Okay, and it's just 2:17 here. So we're working with time zones and all of that, but it's going to happen. I love my queer people. There's nothing that anybody can do about it. We're here to stay. We do exist. Queer Africans exist. My upcoming book, I have a whole chapter about queerness in Africa, and I may have to go and edit it and include Queer City Podcast or Queer City Nation, whatever your name is, and include it there because I want people to know that they're there. I have BC Alimis all over that and some other Africans. I put their names and I put hyperlinks because I want people to know about them. It's important that people knows about us. One thing about people know about us, rather. One thing about
Oh my
books is
God, I didn't write
books
that
live.
well.
So you can give me your information on the back end, and I'll just put it on my just write a little something for me to just slide into my book while I'm editing it, and you'll be in the building. All right, folks, thank you all so much for joining us. Listen, the thing about me is don't give me a microphone because if you give me a microphone, I will not give it back. I love talking, and it makes sense that when I was young, I used to get in trouble all the time because she talks too much, and now today I get paid lots and lots of money for talking. So embrace your superpower, whatever it is, wherever you find yourself, wherever you find your space,
Amazing.
plant your roots there, dig deep and get water and stay there and make a difference. You definitely want to be remembered for the difference that you made in other people's lives. It doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes. I'm not here because I've never made mistakes. I'm here because, or rather, in spite of the fact that I've made mistakes. And once you know better, you give yourself permission to do better. My name is Dr. Lulu, aka the Momatrician. It's been awesome, been amazing. Thank you all so much. Peace, love, and so I'll see you next week, Wednesday, with another guest, if I have a guest. Otherwise, it's going to be a free Wednesday. If you're on Instagram, join us tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central for the Pride Corner podcast. I have another guest coming. We're going to be talking
My
about all.
pleasure.
Listen, y'all need to just accept it.
Bye.
We're not going anywhere. Bye, Aisha. Bye, Timmy. Thank you so much for coming. It's been amazing. God bless you. God bless your work. Until we see you again, my friend. I'll be in Lagos before you know it, and then we'll have dinner. All right. Bye, y'all.